Phil, obviously one of the kind of the hallmarks of your style is to challenge defense with the pace and the tempo that you guys play with. Seems like the first couple of weeks, some more rotation on offense, maybe slowed you down just a little bit. How do you balance out that desire to get guys on the field versus playing with that pace?
Well, you actually just said it. I mean, you have the opportunity to go faster, be in true tempo, which I think we're pretty good at in terms of execution. And then, this year we're more multiple. We are using more personnels because of the depth that we have in some of these skill rooms now. So you kind of try to balance out when is it advantageous for you to go fast, and when do you want to get some better people that are more equipped for what we're about to call on the field. So as of right now, just like we did in the first 2 games, we'll probably balance that out each week based on who we need and when we need them.
Based on how good some of the freshman running backs looked over the summer, a lot of fans and reporters probably expected to see them in the first few weeks. How would you describe your guys' current approach towards them and what you're seeing?
I think we feel like we have a very talented running back room. Cade Giacomelli and Jackson Aker are both very much improved over last year, and they both gave us solid play last year, but Aker is 15 pounds heavier, bigger, more developed, and running just the same. He's just a bigger physical specimen now, so we're real happy with where he is. Cade Giacomelli is maybe like Jack Nelson, one of our most improved players offensively since we got here until now, and that's obvious. We're playing him more as we go. Obviously, we all know what Tyler Walker and Chez are capable of, and then we have these 2 freshmen. So that's a problem when you have 5 or 6 guys like that, but it's a good problem to have. And so we kind of roll through them as we need them, and they all know if somebody's hot early, we're gonna keep them in the fray and use them a little bit more. So there's a lot of iron sharpening iron in the running back room because we have really good competition going on between the 5 or 6 of those guys.
Phil, obviously, anytime you play a game, you're going to like some things, you're going to not like some things. But as you've evaluated the offense through 2 games, where do you feel like this group needs to be better to give itself more of a chance in games like Alabama and the rest of the season?
Everywhere. I mean, when you start early on, you're usually not thrilled with. I think we like where we are a run blocking standpoint, but we want to finish at the second level better. Pass protection, I think we do a great job of marking people and we don't cut people loose, that kind of thing. I think we want to technique better, both at tight end and at running back and at O-line, and give Tyler just that extra half a second it takes sometimes to make the bigger throw. We like where we are route integrity wise, but there are things right now that Coach Guyton and I are talking about that we want to clean up, footwork wise at quarterback, route integrity wise at receiver. Letton is working on some things right now with his tight ends. Things that we do at that position are fairly diverse because of the nature of the offense. So I think there's not a glaring major concern, which is a good thing. And I don't think we're really top shelf in anything yet right now either. So it's the everyday grind to just continue to keep getting better across the board so the overall product of the offense gets better. From an OC standpoint, I think we got to continue to do what we need to do to create more explosives. So we increase that from game 1 to game 2, and that'll continue to be an emphasis for us moving forward.
Phil, as far as Tyler goes, just 2-part. One, kind of if you can kind of assess, kind of what stands out to you about Van Dyke's play so far, and in terms of moving forward, what are some areas that you guys have kind of been emphasizing in terms of tightening up?
So probably the 3 main areas for a quarterback in this offense and in most offenses is the decision-making piece of it. Okay, throw accuracy, obviously. And then just overall being able to identify problems within a particular play and provide the answer. And that's, I don't know if that part exists with everybody and what they do offensively. I don't study them all, but for us, we've got to be able to make good decisions post snap. So for the first week of the year, I thought Tyler made a couple poor decisions down in the red zone with regards to where we're going to put the football. In the red zone, we've got to be very, very precise and very decisive about where we throw. And the expectation is defense doesn't touch the football. And so that really comes down to decision-making and ball placement. And that was an improvement from game 1 to game 2. That's what we needed to see. That was something we emphasized. We were smarter, did a better job in the red zone with the football moving into the second week. So that's an area. Thought we had some errant throws in the first game that we really could have hit, and that got better in the second game. We did a nice job. We missed a deep down the field off the pitch back. But overall, I thought throw accuracy got better for him in the second week. And so I don't mean to give you the same answer with regards to every aspect of the offense, but it is trying to look at what we can do to get every aspect of the offense better for the next week's opponent. That's a must going into this Alabama game that we're hosting on Saturday. And I think we're making that progress. I don't know how I feel going into the game Saturday yet because we haven't practiced, but we have our focus in each area, and that's going to be the emphasis for the week. Those things need to be better to give us an opportunity to attack Alabama's defense.
Phil, is there a challenge as a play caller to the desire to be aggressive without giving up efficiency, and kind of how to strike that delicate balance at all? Do you look at it that way?
I do. I mean, you've got to. I probably am not a traditional play caller. We talk about doing things on certain downs, and if they are maybe intelligent calls on particular downs, without being specific about things. But sometimes the defensive side knows that also, right? I mean, 2nd down and 2, you do certain things on offense. Well, they also know that on defense, so you've got that mindset like, hey, this is an opportunity for them to call whatever. And so it's their mindset to try and stop that as well. So I think sometimes we will call some things off schedule. Sometimes we'll do some things that are a little more unpredictable. And probably the most important thing, though, to answer your question more effectively is to say we do a really good job, or we're trying to do a really good job of knowing where our tendencies are. You know what I mean? So you can break tendencies and build off the tendencies so they give you an advantage in the next game. And monitoring yourself, evaluating what you're doing on offense is probably the best way to try to stay ahead of the curve from a play calling standpoint.
Phil, you mentioned a little bit ago with the red zone passing in week 1 with Howard maybe being a little too aggressive at points, but it hasn't just been very effective or very efficient so far when you've thrown in the red zone. Do you see a through line of maybe an issue that the offense is having overall in that area, or?
No, we want to continue to be able to run the ball there, and I think throwing the play action stuff off of the better run plays that you have down in the red zone. I mean, that's not rocket science there, but we've been a little erratic there, and I think it's more about polishing some of the things that we have. We just missed one throw. We got out a little late. You have all the excuses. We just need to be sharper in the red zone. The red zone, you're really playing against 14 people, right? And that's what we talk to our offense about. They've got the back of the end zone. They've got both sidelines. And they are much more difficult for us in terms of managing the lack of field space down there. And everybody deals with that. It's not like we're the only ones that have that issue, but those are the advantages that the defense has. So I think creating one-on-one matchups where you can get some separation, creating some misdirection, and just developing some of the things that you do in the passing game off the running game are all going to help us down in the red zone. So that'll continue to be what we work on as we get inside the 10-yard line.
Earlier, when talking about the running backs, you mentioned that Jack Nelson, you saw a lot of improvement of him from last year. I'm curious just where.
Probably in reference to most of the team, and this is a legitimate plug for Brady Collins and his staff. Overall, if you look at our team to a man, we're bigger, we're faster, we're more explosive. Guys are gaining weight and still improving their speed and their explosiveness. And then more specifically, that has definitely been an area of improvement for both Cade Giacomelli and Jack Nelson. Also, I think as you see guys return and become true veterans, not just veterans of how many years they played, but the guys coming back now they're in their 2nd year with the offense, and things are a lot more instinctive. And I think for Jack, things are more instinctive. And with being a veteran and with having that knowledge comes, I think, some peace of mind and some confidence that you know what your job is. And to me, that leads to composure. And I think Jack right now and Cade were very urgent, intense, high energy guys. And they both play that way still, but they're both very much more composed now. They're better thinkers on the field. They got better technique, they handle things better. You couple that with the fact that they both have done a great job developing themselves physically. And I think those are just two examples of two of our more improved players on the offensive side.
Each side of the ball probably wants to have an identity, something they know they can hang their hat on. From what you've seen so far, what do you feel like that identity is for your group, and what you feel like you guys can hang your hat on as you go?
So there's three things I've always wanted with our offense as an offense coordinator. One, I want the physicality, being able to run the ball downhill. And, I think we're headed in that direction. I think that's improving over last year. I also think we're doing a better job at locking up and finishing blocks at the second level and at the third level, and that's with reference to the receivers and the tight ends. So that part of it's getting better, and that's always a pivotal part of it. The second thing is you want to be efficient with everything you do. We want the run game to be efficient. You'd rather have in 10 runs, you don't want the 190-yard run, right, and then 9 carries for 9 yards. You want to be able to, efficiency to us is 4 yards on a particular play, and you'd rather have as many of those as you can, because as you gain some of those positive yards, it puts you into a second non-obvious play calling situation, which makes my life a lot easier, right? And then I think the third part is situational awareness is huge, and so that comes with these veterans we're talking about, right? I think more of our guys right now know when we're in a 4-down territory area of the field. They know when we're in a sequencing type situation. We're in a 3rd down, when do you need to really work to get to the sticks because we don't have a 4th down to go for it. You cross over a certain line on the field, and that may change weekly, but the guys I think understand now, hey, when we cross X yard line, I don't necessarily have to play the sticks. Play calling may actually change. It helps me from a play calling standpoint. Every time Coach Vic says, hey, you got 4, right? And it just allows us to take a different approach, and then we can lean on some more of those efficient plays, knowing if we get 6 on 3rd and 8, we'll go for it on 4th and 2. But the situational awareness by the players, I'll give you an example. Last year, we probably caught the ball and fell down 3 or 4 different occasions, a yard short of the 1st down, where if we just kept our feet and dipped our shoulder and lunged up the field, we get the 1st down, we don't have to punt. And those are situations that aren't coming up right now. We're doing a better job understanding where the sticks are. So not just situationally in the red zone, goal line, short yardage, but also 3rd down so that we can keep the drive alive. And those are probably the 3 things that, outside of turnovers, are always going to be a huge emphasis with us offensively.
Good mark here.
As far as your run game inside the red zone, kind of just want to get your thoughts there. I mean, there obviously have been some negative plays, but also there have been some runs for touchdowns in the red zone. How do you assess that part of the team's offense right now?
So I've actually been, we've all been more pleased with our run game in the red zone. I think everybody's area of where the defense changes is different from week to week. Sometimes we feel like the red zone is the 20-yard line, sometimes it's the 15, sometimes it's the 12. A lot of times it's the 10 or the 8. It just depends on where the defense changes. So the offensive approach really doesn't change until the defensive approach changes. And then you've got to adapt and understand how we're going to attack, a real drastic change in what a defense might do. So the red zone, that red zone line changes each week, but we have been very happy with the overall, the run game production. And that's led to most of our touchdowns in the red zone. I thought we missed one. We missed an easy receiver out of the backfield shoot route last week. That could have been an easy pitch and catch for a touchdown. And then we subsequently scored 2 plays later, to Chez Malusi on a run play. But those are opportunities that you want to take advantage of, and that was a design throw off of a run that we've shown. So it was a progression off of a run that we felt like would have been an easy touchdown opportunity, we missed it. And at least we made up for it afterwards, but from a run standpoint, the red zone, happy with where we're heading. And I just think we have to do a better job execution-wise when we decide to throw the ball down there.
Do a few more here, Colton, and back to Zach.
Phil, there were a couple of procedural penalties last week when you guys went under center. Was that just cadence issues? Because I know that's obviously not what you guys do, play to play, but what did you kind of account for those?
You know, last year I thought it was more poise and composure. We had guys jump, and this year it's been a few things. We kind of held the cadence a long time once, right? We motioned the guy in. You know, you have your strategical games that go on down there, so you've got some guys that are stemming, and so there's a new focus on that down there, and we've gotten a couple of those calls. Saturday we didn't get one at one point. That would probably be one of them, and then you got the whole guys are barking cadences and doing some different things down there. We just have to maintain our composure, knowing that's a part of the game on third down and short. You know, and just kind of hold our water until we snap the football.
Zach, back to you, and up to you.
Phil, you've had your helmet communicator with Tyler for a couple games now. Has it changed anything for you? Are there some positives, some negatives? How has it affected you on game days, if at all?
So that's been the iPads have been a more drastic improvement. But from it obviously helps. So in the past, I've had to signal some things to our quarterback in an effort to communicate. Like we have some really sophisticated, signals, right? That was really stupid. We have a signal for that. Okay, we have a think about it signal, right? Those kind of things. So we probably had our library of 8 or 10 different things that were just between the quarterback and myself just to communicate. And a lot of it was in reference to these situational awareness areas of the game. Now it's easy. I can just press a button. I can chat with them. I can tell them watch quarter crash. I can tell them, hey, remember, we got 4 downs. I can relay some of that information that we're getting from the head guy or any other coach on staff that lets us know, hey, look, you got free safety blitz coming, right? He may see it. Doesn't hurt for me to be able to communicate that to him. What I don't want to do on the phones is coach the kid every minute, right? I don't want to. If I really believe if we do our job preparing the players during the week, we shouldn't have to coach them every second of the game, because by that time you want them being able to answer some of these issues themselves, see it themselves, and go attack it. That's being prepared, that's being poised, that's playing instinctively. And so we'll use it in situational awareness areas, anything that we think is just vital, but it's not like Tyler and I are talking the entire game.
We'll wrap up here with Jim and Jake.
Phil, you always, when you talk to us, seem to be kind of a pragmatic guy. Those of us on the outside expect things to happen quicker maybe, and that might be unfair.
They always do.
Right. Do you, I guess from your perspective, do you think this offense is close to taking off the way, or being the offense you want it to be?
Yeah, it's never what I want. I always want to be more explosive. I always want more points, but I think we're progressing. I do. We see the improvements. We know what we're doing better. We know what we have confidence in. Some of it specifically is probably not what we want to talk about here, but we are happy about where things are going. Even the areas that we think we need improvement on, they're getting better. And so what we need is after 3 weeks, we've got to be 3 weeks better. After 6 weeks, we better be 6 weeks better. We have to keep progressing. Even last year, we got off to a very slow start. I was not happy with where we were early on. I really like where we finished. We beat Nebraska in overtime at home. We go to Minnesota and beat them at their place. We played much better in the bowl game against LSU than we had during the year from an explosive standpoint and a skill standpoint and a receiver standpoint. Then we come back and we win that. So we've won 5 of the last 6 games right now. And, is everything where you'd love it to be? No. But I do think there's been consistent progress, and we got to keep making that progress. And I'm looking forward to, putting this plan together this week and matching up with Alabama and see where we are and be a real good barometer for our football team.
Say, Phil, just with looking at the wide receiver room a little bit more in depth, how are you feeling about what Will and Tretch has done within the slot, which I know is a vital position within your offense, but also just How are you feeling about the depth with, on the outside with, you have a couple injuries with, you have at least Quincy Burrows, and then we haven't seen Joe Griffin Jr. yet.
Yeah, so Joe, you'll see next year, right? But Quincy has been battling injury, and I think he's getting closer to coming back, right? But as far as Will and Tretch are concerned, we love where they are right now. We'll continue to use them more. Tretch's reps went up from game 1 to game 2, and that'll continue. And Bryson Green has been what we're looking for at Whiteout. We've been happy with him. We think he's really good run after catch. He's a real good contested catch guy. And then there's been steady improvement with Vinny Anthony. He was the big explosive catch on Saturday. And CJ, who scored the first touchdown for us on Saturday. So those are at least passing touchdown. So right now, those are the 5 that I think you're going to see the most right now. We're happy with them, and much like everything else, we want to keep getting better at the things that we're doing. I like our guys right now. I like the direction that we're heading, including Tyler Van Dyke. And I think this obviously will be a step up for us this week in taking on Alabama and their defense. And it's probably a good time. Probably need to see that. And so right now the focus is we have a great week of practice for Alabama. We're thrilled with the plan as of today, and we got to go execute on Saturday. And it's so pragmatic, yes, but it comes from we've all done this for a lot of years, and sometimes it happens faster, sometimes it's easier than other times. This is, in my opinion, one of the top 2 conferences in football, and it is extremely competitive, especially now that we have 18 with no divisions, right? And you got to be ready to go to war every single week. And so, when you have such high expectations, it can be disappointing sometimes when you're not laying 45 on the board every week. But the focus is just doing what we have to do to win each individual game. And if we stack enough together, you wind up putting together the season that you want. We have utilized our statistics in the past to recruit and to attract these skilled players because we want them to come to Wisconsin and continue that whole process offensively. But nothing replaces winning. And if we're going to be a little less explosive or a little more conservative or a little more efficient to win a game, that's what we're going to do. And whatever it takes to win the next football game is our approach. I think fans love seeing points and they love seeing big plays. I think any of them would trade those for wins just about any day of the week. And I'm here to please Coach Fickle, and this staff is here to put an offense on the field that helps us win the games. You would hope that the fans enjoy winning more than anything else, and that's the only goal that we have in preparation for each